I'll just get the usual things that I say out the way already. Sorry, I'm still very, very sick. Right. We can all bitch about cancel culture all we want. Right. I lost my job. I lost a TV show. I lost gigs. I lost venues. I lost a bunch of stuff. Right. Loads and loads of things. You know, people have been fired from their jobs. People have been kicked out of government positions and kicked out of university. We can all bitch about that until the cows come home. Whenever Salman Rushdie is in a room with us, we shut the fuck up about that. Right? Because nothing, our cancellations have been nowhere fucking near as bad. Is it like, I mean, look at his glasses, right? I lost a job, really. Did you lose an eye? Because someone ran on stage and tried to kill you because there is a literal religious order and cash reward calling for your death. Really? Oh, you got fired from Chipotle? Hmm? Did people find a bomb under your car? Like, fucking, yeah. So, when it comes to cancel culture, when Salman Rushdie's talking, shut the fuck up. But Salman Rushdie, and this is interesting, right? We're facing another old enemy. Rushdie warns against global authoritarianism. This was posted in The Guardian. The Guardian are some of the biggest people that push for the control of the free flow of information. So, still so sick. So, I mean, props to them for talking to Salman Rushdie, but, you know, it's kind of like McDonald's running an article talking to a vegetarian. Do you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, we'll get into the article. Speaking in Philadelphia on Wednesday, hopefully surrounded by fucking security. Salman Rushdie says US Republicans are moving away from democratic values, including free. That's why The Guardian posted it. Because if he said it was the Democrats, The Guardian wouldn't have posted it. But he said it's the Republicans, so that's why they're posting it. However, Salman Rushdie has said a bunch of stuff about the leftists as well. They're just obviously not going to. No, I'm not going to register to your website, Guardian. Salman Rushdie has warned of the threat of authoritarianism globally and said that the US Republican Party is seeking to undermine democratic values. That's interesting. I will not do it later, but whatever. Fucking Guardian website. Undermine democratic values by questioning democratic elections. Okay, never ask questions about democracy ever at all. Ever again. Don't even count the votes, just decide the winner. Flip a coin. At a forum in Philadelphia to discuss the threats against free speech in the US and around the world. Appearing by video at the National First Amendment Summit on Wednesday, Rushdie attributed the rise of Donald Trump and Brexit to a golden age myth. Rushdie, who was attacked in New York a little over a year ago, spoke as book bans continue to proliferate through the US. Interviewed by Suzanne Nosso, the CEO of the freedom of expression organisation PEN America, Rushdie was asked what the greatest threat to free speech is today. PEN America are good. They are good, but they've kind of went the same way as Amnesty International, where there is some of the old guard in there who are actual free speech believers, but then you're getting the little happy ones, the ones that make TikToks like, this is what I do in my average day in New York City. I go downstairs, I pay $15 for like a really good espresso. Then I go down, like those people. Retards. Those complete idiots. I pay like $6,000 a month for a New York apartment that I share with migrants. Like that. My money keeps going missing. But like those people, unfortunately, those people are getting into these institutions when they don't actually believe in freedom of speech. They care about freedom of speech and rights for their side, and then they see the other side as the threat to those rights and freedom of speech, etc., etc. So that's the problem we have. So PEN are good and have done a lot of good work in the past, but you're letting the wrong ones in. Rushdie was attacked. A guy ran on stage and stabbed him right up like multiple times, like lost an eye and everything as well. If you asked me 10 or 20 years ago, I would have probably said that the main problem facing freedom of expression emanate from religious extremism, Rushdie said, which, I mean, yeah, Salman Rushdie would say that, because for anyone that doesn't know, Salman Rushdie made a religious satire book called The Satanic Verses, where multiple religions are insulted, right? And basically, greatly insulted. It was like a COD lobby, like, edgy thing where he insults Jesus, he insults Buddha, like, everybody gets made fun of in it. Like, religious figures like Jesus and all that play, like, characters, like, in the book. but he also said things that Muhammad's mother was a whore and all that, like, basically mad shit. And basically he got in a lot of trouble for it, and the Ayatollah of Iran declared a fatwa on Salman Rushdie's life. And so he spent, like, the last 30 years in hiding. Like, Muslim terrorist groups and everybody were trying to kill him. Even still to this day, you know, all these years later, like, just last year, someone ran on stage and bloody tried to Allah Akbar him and everything. So, yeah, he's been through a lot. I think we're now facing an older enemy, which is authoritarianism. I think there's a real rise in authoritarian movements around the world. Populist I'm sorry. Oh, I'm still very sick. Populist authoritarian demagoguery. Populism, see, this whole populism, as if it's a dirty word, it means caring about the cares of the common man. And the fact that the government are trying to turn that into a dirty word tells you everything you need to know about the government. Caring about what the common people want, that's a bad thing. It's an awful thing. I thought that's what governments were supposed to do, but hey ho, what do I know? Coupled with that, there is a willingness among at least some part of the population to cease to value the democratic values enshrined in the First Amendment. So I think the problem is, I would say now, political more than primarily religious. The summit, hosted by the National Constitution Centre, hosted by the National Constitution Centre, and intended to address threats to the First Amendment, the US constitutional right to freedom of speech, came a day after the US Senate held a hearing on book bans and censorship. According to PEN America, there have been more than 4,000 book bans in the US since the fall of 2021. PEN defines a book ban as when books are deemed off limits to students in school libraries or classrooms, or when books are removed during an investigation to determine whether there should be any restrictions. Now, I would not constitute that as a book ban. A book ban is a much more general thing. Sorry, that was disgusting. I apologise, but I'm disgusting right now. I'm really sick still. Now, so you constitute a book ban as any book that has been deemed off limits in the school library. Well, there are, I'm going to say, probably tens of thousands of erotic novels that you won't find in schools for obvious graphical reasons. So, good goddamn, every single school in the world has got the most outrageous book bans. There's tens of thousands of books that are banned from these schools. Or, you can't buy these books at all, ever. Or, when you turn 18, can you just hop on Amazon and buy the book? Now, if the government turned around and says, Amazon's not allowed to buy this, but Amazon's not allowed to sell this, you're not allowed to publish it, no shop is allowed to stock this book, that's a book ban. That is a book ban. That is definitely 100% a book ban. And that is when you should definitely start kicking up shit about it. But if it's a school, because I know the books they're talking about, I've seen the pictures in them that has drawings of children sucking each other's dicks and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm kind of okay with a school saying, I don't believe this is appropriate for a child to see. However, if they turn 18, then whatever, buy the book. Hey ho, go out and buy the book. Right? You can still go out and read the book and buy the book and stuff like that, but a school doesn't have to have it in their library. And if my daughter's school had books like that in the library, I say this so much, but whoop, right out of school, whoop, homeschooling. That's fine. Definitely fucking not. But yeah, this is all the book bans and everything. They're over exaggerating it. They're basically making the problem sound 1,000,000 times worse than it actually is. Right, so see if we're going by their definition, books that aren't stocked or deemed off limits in the library, then there are tens of thousands of books. And see, because it's that many, it kind of diminishes it, doesn't it? I mean, see if there was like maybe a collection of a few dozen books that were deemed absolutely verboten, then okay, I'd have a bit more truck with it. But tens and tens of thousands of books who are, erotic novels and stuff like that, of course they're not in schools. That's been the case for a very, very, very long time. But you can still go out and buy the books if you want. I don't qualify that as a ban. So, like I said, remember what I said earlier about PEN America? When books are removed, I've just read that. Sorry, my sinuses are fucked. The majority of the targeted books deal with issues of racism, sexuality, and gender identity. Have you seen the books, the ones that have specifically been banned? right? Go find them and look them up. And you'll see the imagery used in them and the words used in them. They're targeted, they're sexual books targeted at young children. And it's not, oh, what did I? It's not, oh, birds and the bees type stuff. It's not, it's vulgar stuff, man. It's CP. Like, that's what it is. Like, if you drew two literal children, like, having, like, blown each other, like, it's CP. That's what it is. Right, and no, I don't think CP should be in schools, but apparently they have a problem with it. During the past 18 months, states including Florida, North Carolina, and Iowa have passed bills restricting how and when teachers can discuss sexuality and gender identity in schools. And I think that's absolutely fine because you're getting a massive amount of influence coming. Basically, sexuality is no longer just a thing that you have, right? It's strictly political. It is strictly a political thing now. Right, and it's the point as well is, what side of the aisle do you think a gay person's more likely to be on? Right, so sexuality is no longer just a expression of your sexual persuasion, but it's also an expression of your politics. It's now been made explicitly political. Right, yeah, there are gay right-wingers, but there are a lot more gay left-wingers, and it's because the right wing, like us right wing libertarians, we're coming after you. We're coming after you. Leave you alone. Ooh, we're going to leave you alone. Ooh, fucking. But yeah, like, oh, I'm sorry, boys. I'm trying my hardest. I've got like 8 more of these to film. I'm fucking. It's just a cold, but it's like a man cold, so it's like kicking the shit out of me. I'll be nice and mute my microphone this time. Like, even just doing that, ooh, fucking took so much energy out of me. One of the problems you have, essentially, only one major political party that seems to believe in democratic values. Shut up, the Democrats. No, they don't. No, they do not. Like, from 2016 onwards, like, for the next 4 years, they were complaining about Russian interference and all manners of stuff about the election. They were doing all the same shit that we're doing right now, except the difference is we've got more fucking evidence than they do. And you have another one that seems to be doing everything it can to undermine them. When you have the large majority of Republican voters believing that the last election was stolen, as they do every time they're asked, a very large majority of Republican voters believe that Donald Trump won the last election and that he was cheated of his victory. If the assault on truth has reached that level of success, then we're in real trouble. I am 80% sure that some absolute tomfoolery went down at the last election. Right? Some brain-dead guy who doesn't even know where he fucking is had a bunch of votes come in at 3 a.m. Did he now? Shut up. Rushdie spent a decade in hiding after Iran's then leader, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, issued a fucking rock and roller. I'm the Ayatollah rock and roller. I'm going to pass a fatwa on your fatma. I'm dropping fat bars. Dropping fatwas. I've had devolved into fucking rapping because I'm so sick. Issued a fatwa calling for his death after his book The Satanic Verses was published in 1988. The book prompted protests amid claims that the novel was anti-Islamic. It was anti-religion in general. Like every religion, even little weird niche ones I've never heard of, all get made fun of. Everything get made fun of in it. It's been an extremely long time since I've read it, though. In August 2022, the 76-year-old was attacked in upstate New York as he prepared to speak at a literary event. Rushdie was stabbed in the neck and torso and spent 6 weeks in a hospital. The attack left him without sight in one eye and injuries to a hand, which makes typing difficult. Speaking at the summit on Wednesday, Rushdie criticised a golden age myth, which he said led to the rise of Trump and Brexit. Make America great again. That's always made me want to ask, when exactly was that? Fucking old fucking hashed out. When exactly was that? 1776, when you actually fought against tyranny. That's when America was great. That's when America was fantastic. There were people that did not have your best interests at heart. They were seeking to exploit and enslave you. And America rose up and kicked them out and then embraced a lot of freedom, for whites at least, right? For a good number of years. So that's when America was great. Then Then a bunch of people that really love the number 33 came in and it all went to fucking shit. What is the date to which we are looking backwards? Was it? I mean, that was a joke. Was it, for example, when there was slavery? Was it before women had the rights to vote? Was it before the civil rights movement? Exactly. Which is the American greatness to which we must return. Rushdie added, and the next thing about the Golden Age is that it never existed, and that the myth of the Golden Age is always used to justify actions in the present. In England, the Brexit catastrophe wasn't a catastrophe, it's bloody excellent. It was the result of another Golden Age myth, which is, England used to be this glorious country, and it could be that glorious country again, if only we could get rid of all these foreigners. I don't see what's wrong with that statement. Of course, they neglected to mention to the electorate that the reason England was so prosperous was that it had spent 200 years plundering the rest of the world. Oh, I'm sorry. Were someone's ancestors not very good at war? Oh, did we have gunpowder and you only had spears? Oh, should have put more points into your tech tree. Right, it's the first thing you do when you play an AoE campaign. In May, Rushdie made his first public appearance since the attack in New York and has since said he has plans to write a book about the incident. Hadi Matar from New Jersey was charged with attempted second-degree murder and second-degree assault in the attack. The 24-year-old has pleaded not guilty. What do you mean not guilty? We saw you do it. There's video, you fucking clown. You literally seen it happen. For fuck's sake. But yeah. Now, Salman Rushdie is someone that I do have an awful lot of respect for because his cancellation was immeasurable to the point where even like over 30 years after the incident, he's still got people trying to kill him. Right, like, so when it comes to cancellations, like I said before, if you're in a room with Salman Rushdie, shut the fuck up, right? Because I guarantee you he's going to beat you. But all this stuff about, he's hashing out the usual leftist talking points because I don't think he's realised that the modern left, they're not your people anymore, Salman Rushdie. See, if you released the satanic verses right now and you had all the Muslims coming after you right now, they would not help you. They wouldn't be on your side. In fact, they would attack you. I think the only reason that they still have a lot of truck with you is this happened back in 1988 and then the 90s and everything when the leftists were still cool. So even though a lot of them have completely 180'd on it, they still have a bit of love for you. I don't know if I've explained that well, but I hope some of you understand what I mean. So I think that's why. But if you release the satanic verses now, they absolutely would not be on your side. But it is a bit disappointing, even though he's a man I've got a lot of respect for, to hear hot takes like this coming from Salman Rushdie.